Hello, my name is Tatia Nelson, and welcome to the School of Health Freedom. We are really excited to bring to you this new quarter of the Self-Reliant Herbalist. And today is the free class. You're welcome to invite any family members, friends to come and watch this video with you. It is part of what we do as a service to the public. And it's called Medical Self-Reliance. So I'm going to teach you an overview to show you all of the basics of what we will then go into the more nitty-gritties of how to be medically self-reliant. So today, let's begin. Hopefully you can see the screen. Medical self-reliance. What does it take? Just think about that in your mind for a minute. Why are we preparing? What can we prepare, and how much power do we have to take care of our own health? And how much more power can you have to take care of your health and to serve those around you, especially family members? First of all, thank you for taking time out, and we thank the Kimber Academy for allowing us to be here tonight. We happen to be at the Kimber Academy in American Fork, Utah, and it is a beautiful school. As you see the flag, it is freedom-based, just like our School of Health Freedom. What you'll learn today is how to be more medically self-reliant and natural healing first aid kits. I'm going to teach you how to put those together and what kinds of things are in them, and then how to gain the skills in natural first aid. Because if you can't get to a hospital, if you can't get to any medical care, how are you going to store up some supplies? Really, the easiest way to do it is through natural products, because you don't have to fall under all the regulations that are entailed with pharmaceuticals, with seeing doctors and others. And as wonderful as that world of medicine is, there are limitations to your self-reliant abilities within their umbrella. So we're going to open that up and open up a whole new world to you right now. I want to start with a story, and this is something that happened to me. I live in Saratoga Springs, Utah, and we've got one road. It's called Redwood Road, and everybody knows Redwood Road is the only way out of town. So here we are. We're really excited to get out of town. It's Labor Day weekend. The family was just going to go on some kind of a fun drive or vacation, go stay with some other family members nearby. And we head out, and the roads are blocked. We had a flood. We had so much of a flood that it was a mudslide, and it went down and destroyed several homes, and it destroyed a majority of the passageway on Redwood Road. We just couldn't cross. And so not only do we have an emergency where everybody stopped what they were doing, they had the weekend off anyways, right? So we all dug out everybody's basements that were flooded. And in the meantime, there's these people who would normally have access to medical care or doctors, or maybe they could even get to the ER if the regular doctor's offices were closed that weekend. They couldn't get there. So I actually had somebody come to my door, because they know that I'm naturally minded, and some of them know I'm a master herbalist, and they said, my child has an ear infection and I need some medical help. And I just said, I can help you. I'd be glad to teach you, but I'm just curious. I know that you really like to go see your doctors first. What happened? They said, well, we called, and they said the only way that they could get any kind of medical care was for Life Flight, $2,000 later, to come get them. Because they couldn't get through one single road, our main road, Redwood Road. And, you know, we're not in the outback. We're in a city with municipal services. If those services are down, even if just a road is blocked, what are you going to do? Do you have a plan? How are you going to take care of that ear infection? It's really easy if you have the supplies and the skills, which we will talk about today. And I'll even tell you what we did for that child. Okay, this this is me. My name is Tatia Nelson. I have a bachelor's in psychology from BYU. I have a master herbalist degree from the School of Natural Healing. I'm an iridologist from the International Institute of Iridology. Iridology is the study of the iris of the eye. Fascinating. You have at least 5 hours worth of data to analyze from just one iris scan. It's fabulous. And emergency preparedness. I've done that with Saratoga Jacks. I was one of the Saratoga Jacks teachers in emergency preparedness. And I have also been a part of the community emergency response team. So if you are familiar with that, it's just with the fire department, and you learn a lot hands-on right next to the paramedics. You can even go with the paramedics and ride with them on all of the emergencies, and man, you learn a lot. So if you have an opportunity, join CERT. It's amazing. If you don't have CERT, go to your fire station and start it up, because you'll learn a whole lot and you will get more skills and more self-reliant just because you're part of CERT. I'm also a freedom singer, and I'm an actress, presenter. I was in the modeling and acting world before I ever got into the natural healing world, so I love the camera. I love you right there. I love all of you and reaching you through this camera. These are just some fun pictures of me. You can get a little glimpse of that. I really try to be fun and enjoy life and serve others. And right now, I'm really happy to be helping and serving you. Our class rules are we expect 100% from you at this time. So if you're at home watching this and you've got, I don't know what distractions, it's really hard to work from home, I know. And so, you know, if your dishes are screaming at you, or your kids, or the undone messes that could be around, unless you're more perfect than I, just tune all of those out right now. We've got some time right here, right now, and I have very important information for you. So if you can give me 100%, I'm here ready to give you 100% of what I have. And you will be very grateful that you focused and utilized this time. We also ask for respect. I want you to email me and ask me questions after you've seen it. And I will use all respect in my communications with you. And then manage communication devices. I've already turned off my cell phone, so we're taken care of there. What can we prepare for? This is a picture of, here's a fire, here's a flood, here's all of the emergency services and what they represent, and here's a fire truck, and then this is an actual CERT event that I did, and this is a picture of somebody. Don't worry, she has makeup on. If you can actually see this in the camera, it's just a mock scene. There's tons of things that we may be faced with. And it may just be an ear infection. It may just be saving on your medical bills. It may be a natural disaster and you've got to stitch somebody up or they're going to lose their lives. So let's get started. Healthcare crisis. We spend $2.8 trillion, and this was in 2002, on healthcare. This is $750 billion, or 27% more than the per capita cost of healthcare in other countries. And WHO, which is our World Health Organization, ranks our healthcare system 37th in the world. So we spend the most and we provide almost the least in our healthcare. What does that say to you? And things are just getting worse, if you've noticed, with the new healthcare bills and all of the things that they have denied. One of our board members has a friend who worked at the ER. She was an ER nurse. She had to quit her job because all of the new regulations made it so that she wasn't allowed to care for the life flights that were coming in if they were this far gone. Even though she knew how to save their lives and had been doing it all along. She had to let these people go, and she didn't have the heart. So they she just had to quit. She couldn't work anymore in that kind of an atmosphere where she was told that she had to let people go. Our healthcare is not getting any better. So, why do we spend so much on a lower quality healthcare system? CDC reports with our medical emergencies per day, our number of visits is almost 130 million per day. Emergency visits. Our numbers of injury related are 37.9 million. Number of visits per 100 persons is 42.8. Almost 43 people out of 100. That's crazy. What if America reduced these costs by even just 50%? I reduced the healthcare costs in my family when I noticed that every year when I was doing my taxes, I was putting out so much in healthcare costs. One year we made $20,000. I know that's not much, but we were students and my husband was working part-time, and it was just, so we made $20,000 and I had $10,000 in medical bills that year. You can imagine that was devastating. Just, I mean, there wasn't anything left that year, and it was because of healthcare. So I knew I had to reduce that. What if you could reduce your healthcare costs and reduce your need for the healthcare services? And then take that money and go on vacation, right? Top 10 reasons for ER visits. Listen to these because I'm going to quiz you on some things in a little bit. Chest pains, abdominal pain, breathing emergencies, broken bones or sprains, URIs, UTIs, toothaches, or other infections, cuts, contusions, back pain, skin infections, foreign objects in body. I have a friend who had a screwdriver go right through her hand. Somebody had a knife go right through their hand. Surgeries, after surgeries later, right? Headaches is another thing. So the ER is really one of their number one treatments is that they give pain meds and then they send people away until they can go see their normal healthcare services. Interesting, right? You can do that, right? You don't just need to go to the ER, pay, I don't know how much it is per visit, hundreds, and then get pain meds and come home, and then have to wait to actually get some kind of a real answer from your real doctor. Before an emergency, it's important, if you're going to learn to do much of this on your own, you need to prepare with supplies and knowledge, because you do not deny yourself or another medical care. But if you are prepared and you know what to do, you can take care of a problem before it becomes an emergency. Does that make sense? Before it becomes an emergency, and I will share a story with you about that. And then, so you need to prepare, but you can also prevent the emergencies. In an emergency, when it does arise, you need to act quickly, very quickly. You have to be able to get your stuff and get over to whoever needs help very quickly with your knowledge and inspiration. So the person who knocked on my door and wanted to know what to do just for this little ear infection, it was for a baby. I had the supplies of the infection formula, and I'll show you that in a little bit. The infection formula can be used for a lot of different things. And I brought her in and I showed her at my stove how to take glycerin, water, and a few other ingredients and put this infection formula powder into it, make a syrup, because that's how babies can take it, and we made the proper dilution for babies. We made an anti-infection formula. It's just like a natural antibiotic for this child. Gave it to her, and then I happened to have some ear oil on hand, so I gave her some, because it had to be prepared ahead of time. Sometimes it takes like up to 4 weeks to make an ear oil, and you just need to prepare it and have it stored. And then I taught her how to make one of those, as well as giving her that. That's all the baby needed. Some ear oil and some infection capsules put into a form that the baby could have in the dilution that they had to have in it. And, you know, emergency over, no life flight, no $2,000 later. Prepare. Keep your first aid on the go supplies ready and on hand. Know how to use them and also carry them with you. The self-reliant herbalist will teach you the skills that you need, and that's the last part, is having the skills. The first responder kit. Okay, this is a first responder kit. It's just one example of it. It happens to be one that I designed, and the reason why I designed it is because I thought if somebody is stuck, let's say downtown, in the midst of a city of people, there's an emergency, how and with what supplies are you going to get home? And how well are you going to get home? We have a student here, Dewey, who happens to have his first responder kit. He's one of our graduates. He has his at his office, which is very important to have it with you where you go. And I carry mine in my glove box, or it's in the diaper bag with me everywhere I go. So I've got a first responder kit, and I also have a children's kit. We'll talk about that. What's in this? This is part of what I want to teach you. And we're just going to breeze over this today because you learn more about it in the natural first aid class, which is coming up in 3 classes from now. So you want to get 3 tinctures. And why did I choose these 3 tinctures? Because I went through the Master Herbalist program, and out of everything that's in their first aid kit, they call it an herbal medicine kit, which I'll show you briefly. And out of all those things, I thought, you can take just the 3 of those, and I betcha, I did this almost 9 years ago now. I bet you with those 3 formulas, I can take care of anything. You just need knowledge, and you need the 3 tinctures, right? So what are these? I chose cayenne because cayenne is the #1 first aid herb. I also chose lobelia. So cayenne is a stimulant, right? Lobelia is a calmant, and when you have polar opposites, you can bring those 2 formulas together, just like if you know your essential oils. Peppermint is a stimulant, so it would be kind of like your cayenne, and lavender is a calmant, and so you have polar opposites there, and when you bring lavender and peppermint together, they are equivalent to 50 different essential oils you'd be bringing. Now the cayenne and lobelia are equivalent to hundreds of different herbs that you could have on hand. And with those just 2 formulas, you can do everything that Samuel Thompson did. He's any of the Thompsonian followers. This was in the late 1800s that he practiced. He brought around just cayenne and lobelia, and sometimes slippery elm. That's all he treated everybody with, and he was like this well-renowned herbalist who treated many, many people as a doctor. And the only thing he used slippery elm for was in the birthing process when he went to deliver babies. So really, you've got all the tools that Samuel Thompson had with those 2 tinctures. I added a 3rd because the aseptic formula is an antiseptic, and you put it on your hand, and it has properties that not only help stop bleeding, it cleanses out a wound, it also has comfrey and some other what we call cell proliferants. In other words, it's like a super healer, a bleed stopper, it's an antiseptic, it's amazing. And it can do a number of different things. My daughter got her ears pierced recently, and she just cleans her ears off so that she's more comfortable, and so that her ear piercing experience post ear piercing is much better, and it's worked great. So even little infections or little cosmetic things, if you have acne, things like that. I bet Dewey didn't know that. You can put it on acne, Dewey. Do you know anybody who has acne? With these 3, you can do just about anything. So I put it to the test. In the last 9 years, I've helped somebody with a concussion. I put lobelia on it. I've helped that person. I also put some under her tongue because her eyes were dilating, and she saw the EMTs, but there wasn't anything they could do for her, and so I put that on her. and some essential oils. Let's see, cuts. There's a child whose tooth went right through her lip, and we were worried about her beautiful face being scarred. We were putting the aseptic formula on there, and some helichrysum essential oil. But really, with these, you can do just about anything. Heart attack. You'll learn some basics. Cayenne helps with anything that has to do with blood circulation. So it stops bleeding, stimulates the heart, equalizes blood circulation within 10 seconds usually, sometimes 30 seconds if it's a more difficult thing. For me, I had hemorrhages. I took as much as was needed for it to stop hemorrhaging. It stimulates peristaltic motion, so if you don't have a laxative with you, I mean, just take a bunch of cayenne. And I can attest to that because my husband one time was trying to impress me. We were at a restaurant and I was freezing, and the herbalist that I am, I asked for some cayenne. I knew the kitchen would have it. They brought me a 4th cup of the stuff. I was like, what am I going to do with all this? So I put some on my food, I put some in my drink, I squeezed some lemon into it. It warmed me up. It was great. So at the end of our meal, stomach's full, my husband hears me say, well, what am I going to do with all this cayenne pepper? This stuff's so precious. I mean, it's so valuable. And while I'm saying this, he sticks it in his glass, shoots it down his throat. I'm like, don't do that! Laxative. Just remember that. And not a comfortable one when it comes. So, but it is there if it's needed. It helps rebuild tissue in the stomach. A lot of people have used it for ulcers and other things. So you get the gist of it. We're going to learn more in the coming weeks at the more advanced course. Dr. Christopher just happened to treat all of his heart attack patients with cayenne. He never lost even one. 0 patients. I don't know any doctors who have that record. Never lost one. What did he do? Number 1, he gave him a hot cayenne tincture, the exact same one, exact same formula that's in these first aid kits. And then he sent him to emergency care because they do need further care after this stabilizes them. We'll go more into that as well. Lobelia, liver disorders, respiratory, asthma, produces vomiting if you needed to. You just take large amounts and it works as Epicac if you're poisoned. Ever tried that?
No.
Stick a bunch in your Dr. Pepper next time. And when the poison of Dr. Pepper gets into your stomach and you want it out, just kidding. I don't want everybody to be bulimic. So I carried it as an asthma remedy for my daughter. I'm kind of laughing, having a hard time talking here. Aseptic. This has oak bark in it. It has golden seal root. It has garlic, comfrey, myrrh, capsicum. Capsicum is your cayenne. It's an amazing, as I said, antiseptic. So, now, with these 3 tinctures, let's go back to the emergency list. And I want everybody on camera and those who are here to just discuss what would these 3 tinctures help with the top 10 reasons why people go to the ER. Remember, this is chest pains, abdominal pain, breathing emergencies, broken bones and sprains, URIs, UTIs, toothaches, other infections, cuts, contusions, back pain, skin infections, foreign body objects, and headaches. So let's start with chest pains. Does anybody in this classroom know which one of those 3 tinctures you'd probably use? Cayenne. I'm dying. Give me something. Yeah, cayenne. Did you know you can actually give cayenne and lobelia almost all the time? So if you're giving cayenne and cayenne is the #1 remedy, then you can just give a couple of tiny drops of lobelia just to help boost, if that makes sense.
With that,
Good.
I have a question in
Yes.
regards to that.
Question.
So would that be under the tongue? Would it be better to do it, because the ratio on it is probably pretty high on the cayenne pepper?
You mean how hot it is?
Yes,
And you're asking if it's a good idea to put it under the tongue?
under the tongue so it would go into the system
Yeah.
faster.
Does everybody know eye hair, right by the frenum down here. The frenum is what holds your tongue. It's that piece of stuff that holds your tongue down. Right down there, under the tongue, you can actually absorb things directly into your central nervous system. And so you're right. If you stick it under your tongue, it's going to burn more. And you're going to be like, why did I do that? Because it burns just a little bit more than actually taking it straight down the throat. That cayenne will absorb straight in. And that's how it can help, like within 10 seconds. Otherwise, it doesn't absorb as fast, gurgling it down and getting it into the stomach, and then however long it takes.
So if you're used to Dr. Pepper and you put the cayenne there, then there's no problem.
Then there's no problem with Dr. Pepper, right?
Correct.
Okay, just tell that to Dr. Young when we get to our health segment. Abdominal pain, what would you do? Let's be funny and say the abdominal pain is just excess gas. The person doesn't know it and they feel like they're exploding. What can you use for your 3 tinctures? You said?
Lobelia.
Lobelia. You can apply it externally by rubbing it, right? And you can also put a couple drops under the tongue. And then you just push out. No, I'm just kidding. There's lots of things you can do for abdominal pains. Now, if it is a scare of some kind of infection and say an appendix bursting, what are we doing? What would you do?
Lobelia.
You would do lobelia.
Cayenne.
I would also do cayenne. Because remember, cayenne, especially in large amounts, is going to clean you out, like big time. And I probably would take the powder in like large doses, just like my husband did. It actually would make you throw up, which if you can just clear out the whole digestive tract and not have anything in the stomach continuing down until the situation is remedied, it's a good idea. But I would also go to emergency care with that kind of a scare. You need to be careful, because if anything ruptures, if a spleen is going to rupture, if a major organ is injured, if the abdominal pain is something like a knife inside, please take them to medical care. Or if an appendix is going to rupture, you just have to be careful. With a breathing emergency, what's the first one you go to in those 3?
Cayenne.
What would cayenne do for a
Or-
breathing emergency?
It's hot. So probably lobelia then.
Lobelia is the first one that you go to. You probably could boost it with cayenne, because cayenne is super cleansing, and if it's a mucus-based issue. Honestly, asthma usually is a catarrh, mucus-based thing, but lobelia is the number one. Because why? Dewey might remember the story where I took a whole bunch of essential oil of oregano, because I was using it like an herb and I was naive, and I breathed in all of the fumes of it. When it shocked me with how much heat was going down my throat, I was like, and when I did that, it went into my lungs, and my lungs decided, no more of this. The carvacrol, and it was way too strong, and it closed up my throat. So I was able to get some help and get the lobelia, and it opens it immediately. So it opens airways. Something else to have in further first aid kits would be Brigham tea, which is a bronchodilator, but lobelia was sufficient enough. Again, that is worth several different herbs. Broken bones and sprains. What can you use in there to help kind of stabilize and maybe get them to medical care? Energy work, that actually would work. Just calming a person down is really important. So out of the 3, what would help you in the process of calming them down?
Lobelia is the calming one, right?
Lobelia. Now, with a broken bone or sprain as well, there is some comfrey in the aseptic, and so I would probably take some Acceptic, rub it on the area, and I would probably put some lobelia. You can put as much lobelia as you want, drops here, and then 1 or 2 drops of the lobelia under the tongue, because that would help quite a bit. And then you need to get medical care with that. Unless you're a doctor and you know how to cast it, set it, and x-ray it as well. URIs, which are upper respiratory infections, UTIs, your bladder infections, toothaches, or other infections. What would you use if you just had the small kit?
Acceptic.
Yeah. You gotta say, on a toothache, the Acceptic is fabulous. Stick it straight on. I have many stories of tooth problems. Runs in my family as a weakness, and so the Acceptic has been very helpful. And yeah, if you had nothing else, I would just put some of the Acceptic in water and take it down, or gargle with it or something. So, oh, and for URIs, you can rub the Acceptic right onto the chest. Bring that out, especially if people are getting further into pneumonias and things like that. But you need further medical care, or further, at least natural care. You're going to need many, many more herbs and treatments, which we'll talk about more in the coming classes. But out of your little kit, if you're just trying to help a person get a little bit better, you would use that Acceptic formula.
I have a question on that, Acceptic. What would be the difference between putting it on the chest area or on the back area?
Whatever you feel inspired to do. And actually, if you put them on both areas, if you put it on the chest area and the back, then it kind of creates an energy field of healing. And so, yeah, use your intuition when you're working with these as well. It doesn't hurt to put it just about everywhere that's non-sensitive. Okay, I would not take a bunch of this and squirt it into a bathtub unless you have protected special areas from the burning. So, cuts and contusions. What's the first one you go to?
Acceptic.
Exactly. Back pain?
Lobelia.
Yes. A lot of people actually rub the lobelia right in and they take a couple under. Granted, with back pain you need more remedies, but if you just have your little kit, that's the one that you would use to help stabilize and get to better natural care that you're going to give, or medical care later. Skin infections.
Acceptic.
Yeah, Acceptic. Foreign body objects. Please go to the ER, but what are you going to do in the meantime?
Acceptic.
Yeah, Acceptic. My mom actually had something go right through her finger, and so it got infected because she didn't have anything. If she had been able to just squirt something right on there that was antiseptic, then it would have taken care of that. Headaches.
Lobelia.
Lobelia helps,
Or cayenne.
but cayenne is the best, and so I'd use both. And if you have essential oils with that, obviously your frankincense and your peppermint and lavender right here. But why not take the cayenne and treat it like it's a peppermint lavender, and you can put that right here as well as a mixture. So you just mix the cayenne and the lobelia together, put it here. Probably take a couple of drops of the lobelia under the tongue, and then 1 big squirt of the cayenne down the throat, and a whole bunch of water. So there's many reasons for all of that. Most headaches are actually a mild form of dehydration. For migraines, a large number of people who, if you get better by taking a drink of Coca-Cola or a caffeinated Dr. Pepper or some kind of caffeinated drink, right? If that actually helps you feel better and take your migraine away, then it is vasodilating, which means that you're constricted and stressed. Everything, arteries that are going through your head, they will open up with a vasodilator. Did you know that cayenne pepper is a vasodilator? Isn't that fabulous? I had somebody who thought that only Coca-Cola would work, and she didn't have a Coca-Cola. She was somewhere where they didn't sell it. I go, try this. She's like, what? Are you crazy? And it totally worked. She was going to give a presentation, was heading home, and her migraine, all of a sudden everything just reversed. And all she'd had is one big hot swig of cayenne. It was great. And a whole bunch of water. Okay, other first aid options, really quick, tinctures that you can put in there. It's really good to make your own yarrow tincture, nettle tincture. Yarrow is a substitute for cayenne. So if you're up in the fields, or if you don't have a cayenne plant to make your own cayenne with, yarrow is a great extra added and substitute. Nettle is high in calcium, and anything high in calcium actually helps stop bleeding usually. Internally it's a lot slower than cayenne, but it's very helpful. The infection formula is a really good idea. Stick that stuff into a brine. We teach you how to put it in a menstruum of an alcohol, and you are making, just like the aseptic formula, you're making an anti-infection formula that's very similar to the aseptic formula. Echinacea, boost your immune system. Ear and nerve formula is great. It would have been an added boost for the baby who had the ear infection to have not only the ear oil but the ear and nerve formula. And for any kinds of nerve pain, or if people go into spasmophilia or other shaking sort of syndromes, the ear and nerve formula is going to help. And with nerve regeneration, you'll learn about that later on. Okay, additions. The essential oils that I've chosen to put into the first aid kit is lavender, peppermint, an anti-infection essential oil blend. Let's see, what are some of the names of the anti-infection formulas that are out there?
On Guard,
On Guard,
Guardian.
Guardian, what else? Thieves Oil. Thank you, Dewey. Thieves Oil, good job, that was great.
My cure-all is Dr. Pepper.
Ginger, frankincense, those are important to have as well. And so I have those in the kits that a lot of the students purchase that are already put together. When you are putting together a children's kit or your first aid, your first responder kit, the owie ointment is really important. The owie ointment has the Dr. Christopher Complete Tissue and Bone formula. Has anybody tried that? Okay, what do you use the Complete Tissue and Bone formula for?
Because you told me to get it.
I know, of course I did, because it's fabulous. So the ointment, what would you use an ointment for?
If you had a broken bone that's healing, or
Mm-hmm.
About sunburns or a burn of some sort, would you
Yeah.
use that?
You would. So again, we'll learn some more skills with all of these, because you don't want to put an ointment on a fresh sunburn. You want to get the heat out first and wait a couple days for that. But you can put aseptic on a wound and then the owie ointment right over it. If you get a bite or a sting, what we have learned to do in our herbal lab is I give you the recipe on how to combine two formulas. One's a plantain ointment and the other is owie ointment, and you just put the two together so that you just have to carry around one thing. And we usually put tea tree oil and lavender in it as well, so it's even stronger, and you can put helichrysum in it. So it's stronger in its healing and it's stronger in its anti-itch properties. How many of you are like itching all the time when that mosquito season in Saratoga Springs down by the lake? Oh, there are some people who've come to me and said in the middle of church, "Do you have anything to help me? I can't stop itching." And I'm like, "Yeah, actually I have this kit I designed. It's really, just give it to me." And they're putting it on. It's great stuff. Especially for hikers, it's important to have an athlete's kit. You can put in a sensei ointment or a deep heat cayenne ointment. So when you're using the kit to go up into the mountains, or I don't know, my husband likes to run relay races, so it's really nice for him to be able to put a muscle toner or something that takes the lactic acid and the pain out. That's wonderful stuff. Sensei is great for headaches as well. It's actually designed for headaches. You put it right here, or you put it down the neck for stress headaches. Okay, can we take a quick break and I will tell the rest of it. Okay, there's some balancing extras that you can put in there. To better stay hydrated and to get rid of cramps, it's really important to have electrolytes. You have no idea how important electrolytes are until you have what I went through, or my son went through the hospital. And the only reason why he was in the hospital was because the illness that he had, his electrolytes went out of balance. And when I was out of town and asked my husband to keep my son hydrated, he didn't automatically think the way that I thought. He gave him a whole bunch of water and diluted all of his electrolytes, putting him into the hospital. And so electrolytes are really important to put into that water, especially if you're out in the sun and other things. So trust me on that, and we'll learn more in the coming classes that you really need to have some electrolyte packs in some way with you. Cleansers are really important. It's important to have what's called a quick colon chelator recipe that the students get. It's kind of a fallout cleanser as well. It gets rid of toxins, even radiations and other things like that. Or if you're just out and about, what they do in Germany is they carry around activated charcoal everywhere they go. Well, that's one of the ingredients. And why? Because they're used to food poisoning. I don't know why they're used to food poisoning in Germany, but everybody carries around activated charcoal. Because if you get food poisoning, you just take this stuff and it just knocks it out. So it's important to have this quick colon chelator. It's important to have extra things like the lower bowel formula in capsules, or the Kitty Reg formula, which is the children's kit version of your bowel cleanser. First aid supplies is just important to have bandages, you know, all the other stuff. We've got paracord and twine and chapstick. You never know how important it is till you don't have some and your lips are chapped. Many, many little things. Okay. So all of these first aid items help us with all the top things that could send us to emergency care. How much money you're going to save? I saved $26,000 in 1 year. How do I know? Because each time that we had something that I dealt with at home, I called my uncle, who happens to be our pediatrician. I called his office and asked his staff how much would it have cost me to bring my son into here. And so they helped me do that study the whole year. $26,000. We saved in 1 year just by knowing all this stuff and having on hand the supplies and using it. You can order that today and we will allow you to have this offer. So the kit is full of $150 worth of items if you were to go out and collect all those things and put it together yourself. We offer it to students for $120, but we really like to do group orders. Why? Because then we can get several out. And so if 10 of you want to order this and we get a list of 10 within the time period that we're running the sale, then it's just $99. And you can get your kit for $99. Let us know. You can call. Children's Basics. It's really important to make another kit where you put Kitty Well in there, where you put Kitty Soothe. You need the lobelia to be on hand. And so what I do is I actually have the first responder kit with me, and I also have a children's kit. And I typically will have Kitty Well and Kitty Soothe in the section where the 3 tinctures would be. And then I have Kitty Reg, which is your laxative, also in that kit. The complete tissue and bone owie ointment and ear oil is in there, and then all of the essential oils as well that we had listed. Children's kit options, there are many different things that you'll learn about that you can put in there, and you'll have this slide. Lots of things, even melatonin if you want to be out and about. And in a natural disaster, the thing that drove let's see, in Japan, the earthquakes, the parents just couldn't sleep, and it's because the children are uprooted. Some of them had to sleep under one blanket so everybody could be warm enough, and then, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine all the arms that would be waking up everybody else. It's important to have some kind of a sleep aid, and melatonin is just one. There's many others. So it's a good idea to have those. But don't give it to them all the time. Children's kit. These are the top things that tend to send children to the ER. Fevers are number one. So in other words, an infection is usually the cause of a fever. We have the infection formula and lots of other things that can be used. Coughing, abdominal pain, breathing emergencies, broken bones, sprains, injuries, URI, UTIs, toothaches, other infections, cuts, contusions, skin infections, and foreign body objects, like for instance a quarter down the throat. Word to the wise. This is a really important thing I want everybody to know. If a child does have like a quarter or something that they swallow, how many of you out there have had to tip your kid upside down and pat their back and get it out, or do a little Heimlich maneuver, or you know what I mean? Or swish it, just sweep it out. My son has had so many of those emergencies, it's crazy. The most important thing I learned was a story of a child at a daycare center. The EMTs came, got the object out of the throat, and then when they went away, all the stress and everything caused the child to just want to go to sleep. The child did not survive. And you ask, why? What happened? The scraping of the throat caused his throat to close up, and he was asleep. So he just went to sleep and stayed asleep. And they found him blue later because they were concentrating on other children at that point in time. And as sad as that is, I want to tell you what to do about it so this doesn't happen. If something goes down a child's throat, just keep in mind that throat will be irritated, and it probably will try to close up, and if it doesn't, it's okay. You can give this remedy anyways. Just lobelia. Just stick some lobelia underneath their tongue. And I did this every time for my son, and when he went to sleep, I would go in and just make sure he's still breathing, but the lobelia opened up his throat. And there was one time where I noticed he was getting asthma, or a closing of the throat and a wheezing, and that lobelia opened him up. So, fevers. In that kit, you would use kitty well. For coughing, kitty well as well. Now, the kind of coughing, like croup and the other things, you'll learn about more advanced in the family first aid class, and that's valuable information. But in general, you're looking at kitty well, the abdominal pain, you can put some lobelia on their tummies. Oh, they just love it. And it helps them so much. And sometimes their abdominal pain is just their tummy's upset. And so again, back to the kitty well, it really helps. Breathing emergencies, not only lobelia, but the kitty soothe formula is really helpful, because sometimes it's an allergic reaction thing. And so your kitty soothe formula is marshmallow and it's astragalus, and you'll learn about that Immucomb formula more later. It helps the body to stop the histamine effect. Histamine, antihistamine, you've probably heard of antihistamines. Antihistamines stop all the inflammation that's going on, and it's because the body is overproducing histamine for what's going on. And so the Kitty Soothe formula is an alternative to, what do you call that stuff? The over-the-counter stuff.
Benadryl?
Benadryl, yeah. And I would still have Benadryl in your emergency supplies somewhere, but I've never had to use it. I just always use the Kitty Soothe, and it takes care of it. Even for bee stings, my son's throat was closing up with the bee sting, and so I just gave him Kitty Soothe. Broken bones, again, you can put the lobelia on it and under their tongue. For any type of infection, you can give them the aseptic formula, but really I would go to the Kitty Well first, because the Kitty Well has an echinacea base and it's also in a glycerin formula. It's not going to burn their throat like the aseptic formula is. Cuts and contusions, you would use the aseptic formula. Skin infections, aseptic. They don't like it sometimes though. And so you've got to calm them down with a little lobelia. If somebody goes into shock, the number one formula is lobelia. And then you can also give them cayenne to help with circulation. But for a child, that would just be one little drop of lobelia, and then just maybe get them something else like Kitty Soothe. Foreign body objects, aseptic. Look at that. I mean, with just 2 kits, there's a majority of the ER visits. There's something that you can do, and maybe you still need to go to emergency care after that, but you have reduced your need by at least 50%, if not more. And for me, I reduced our needs as a family by about 90%, and I save a lot of money, and we're finally going on vacation with that money and enjoying life a little bit more. You can order that today. A children's kit's usually $100, but the student price is $80, and the group orders, it brings it down to only $69. So if you get a group of 10 together, or if everybody watching this decides that 10 of you want to get one, we'll ship those out for that low price of $69. Herbal medicine kit. This one comes in this bag, and I did purchase it originally, but you can notice I'm definitely a master herbalist because my kit has expanded to an entire bin of things. And so you'll find things like these in the original kit, but they all come really nice in here. And there will be some extras that you'll learn about in the coming classes, like the Super Garlic Immune Formula. And we have a recipe as well in our books on how to make that. So, of all of these things, I just want to show you on here what comes with the actual kit. I call it a starter kit because I'm so gung-ho about grabbing everything that I would ever want from the store. Some people come over and they're like, you're a mini health food store at your house. How did you get all this stuff? I'm like, how do you not? It's all great stuff. So encapsulated in this kit comes the complete tissue and bone formula. This is for healing. It's also to manage pain from injuries when you're taking enough of it. Ginger capsules. Ginger is so wonderful. I know you know what it's for. You're thinking, well, there's Dramamine and there's ginger. And you're thinking all of the pregnant moms and their morning sickness, they probably use ginger in some way. Ginger is wonderful to carry around in capsules. Immucalm, I was telling you about that. It's 50% marshmallow root and 50% astragalus. And together, those 2 herbs synergize to become something that helps reduce the histamine in the body, which is the inflammation and the cause for allergies and the cause for a number of different autoimmune type things that happen. And so the Immucalm is really wonderful for that. A lot of people with autoimmune disorders take that on a daily basis. I did when I had gluten intolerance and I had sort of an autoimmune thing going on with my digestive system. And I don't have gluten intolerance anymore. I'm really happy. But I did take it for a whole year, do a cleanse for a year. That's my disclaimer. It was a lot of work. But the formula really, really helps. And Immucalm is in there. The infection capsules, those combat infection like crazy. And you can not only just take the capsules, but you can make a little poultice out of it. You can put it just about anywhere. If anybody's seen the movie Day After Tomorrow, it's this total drama of what would happen if, I guess, everything froze. They're in the middle of an emergency and all this flood water comes through and they're trying to get past all these cars, and one of the main characters, she cut her leg while she was heading through this water and caught her leg on a rusty door. So lo and behold, there's an emergency later. Just a few days later, she's starting to get a blood infection. And the drama is they're going out trying to find antibiotics to help her because she's got blood poisoning at this point in time. I'm sorry, drama over. If you just have the infection formula, like you can make a little poultice and stick it on there. Or if you just have the what's in the kit that you can put on a wound. What's in the normal kit? Yeah, the aseptic. And the aseptic is again in this kit as well. So if you just have aseptic and you're carrying it with you, like the whole premise for the movie is over. There's no drama. You just took care of it. Lower bowel formula. You always need something to clean the bowel if you are going to be self-reliant. If your bowel is plugged up, it's really bad. And I have a funny little poem about that I wanted to share really quick. All the organs of the body were having a meeting, trying to decide which one was in charge. I should be in charge, said the brain, because I run all the body systems. So without me, nothing would happen. I should be in charge, said the blood, because I circulate oxygen all over. So without me, you'd all waste away. I should be in charge, said the stomach, because I process food and give all of you energy. I should be in charge, said the legs, because I carry the body wherever it needs to go. I should be in charge, said the eyes, because I allow the body to see where it's going. I should be in charge, said the bowel, because I'm responsible for waste removal. All the other body parts laughed at the bowel and insulted him. So in a huff, he shut down tight, and within a few days, the brain had a terrible headache, the stomach was bloated, the legs got wobbly, the eyes got watery, and the blood became toxic. All the organs decided the bowel should be the boss. The moral of the story, some bum is always in charge. So, that's to help you remember you will always have to have a laxative of sorts, something to clean that bowel. If the bowel's not running, nothing else is. Okay, the extracts. Antispasmodic. That's really important to help with anxiety, with calming the system even more than just lobelia by itself. It would be like the advanced lobelia formula. Cayenne extract. That's already in your responder kit. We talked about it. Echinacea. Boost that system. Ear and nerve extract. There are so many things you're going to learn about that. But in general, if you have it for ear infections or for nerve pain, even, what do you call that? When right here really hurts. Carpal tunnel. Yeah. It is amazing what this ear and nerve formula will do with a little bit of deep heat cayenne mixed with it right there. Get circulation and food to those nerves. Awesome stuff. Herbal eye bright extract. How many of us need a really good eye cleanser? Like if you get pink eye, you've got to have something on hand. Lobelia, we already know about that. It's in the first responder kit. Super garlic immune extract. This is what I was talking about. And there's a smaller bottle of this in there. This is also called the anti-plague formula. We're going to learn a lot more about it. If you knew how much garlic is in this one bottle, I mean, it almost seems like they took a truckload and put it into a bottle, kind of like your essential oils. But it's not as strong as an essential oil because it's an herbal extraction. This is amazing stuff. And there are many, many things. Even the Epstein-Barr virus that causes mono has helped me considerably with this. And you do have to take large amounts at that. Aseptic, we already talked about that one. So the ointments are, sometimes there's a black drying ointment that comes with it, or you can just buy it for extra with a little bit. That is a drying agent. I choose in our class to use the other things as poultices, which you'll learn about, and so that the black drawing agent is not really needed. Cayenne deep heat, that's the stuff you just put on. Oh, it feels so nice. It's like that hot and cold, icy cold. What did they? It used to be called Bengay or something.
Icy hot.
Or yeah, or icy hot, or tiger balm, or any of those things. That just deep blue is the essential oil version of it. The complete tissue and bone ointment. Sensei is that rub. That's a lot like the deep heat cayenne, but it's clear, so it won't actually stain your clothing like the deep heat cayenne. And stings and bites ointment. And the stings and bites ointment is nice to have separate because it's stronger, but I teach the students in their little kit to have a combination of the complete tissue and bone and the stings and bite ointment. So if you are going to go to this kit that's inside of this bag when you purchase it or when you put it together, what you do for chest pains here is probably go to a cayenne as well. The abdominal pain, you're looking at many more options. There's actually some slippery elm that's in there. I probably have slippery elm and some lobelia, and just rub it on there. Breathing emergencies, I'd still go straight to the lobelia first, but I'd probably put some Calm down person. Did I say breathing emergencies? You wouldn't put capsules down. You would put a kitty's tooth and a lobelia for that. Broken bones, hands down, complete tissue and bone formula. You'll learn more about it in the articles I've published on it, like when I broke my rib and some other things. Complete tissue and bone formula is so amazing. It does so many good things. And that's why I told you to get it, right? URIs, UTIs, you would go straight to the infection formula. Cuts, contusions, you'd still use the aseptic formula. Back pain, you'd go straight to the complete tissue and bone formula. Skin infections, there's a whole bunch that you can do there. I would go to the essential oils, aseptic formula, and then I would start cleansing out the bowel as well, because you have those. Foreign body objects, aseptic formula still, little lobelia under the tongue, make sure they don't go into shock, and probably take some infection formula as well, because things that go into the body, they might have rust on them, and then you're looking at needing to get vaccinated for some strange things, and so put the infection formula in. It has antisepsis herbs, and if tetanus or other things like that are going to be widespread, I would still go get some medical care and have those things down you to help with the process. Headaches, so many things help with headaches. Drink of water first. Lobelia, cayenne, the deep heat cayenne, stick it down there. Sensei, there's many, many more options that come with this, which is your next step up from your small kit. So, this normally retails for $286.25, and the School of Health Freedom students that are enrolled get it for $229. But we love the group orders, right? So if 10 or more get them, we'll get it to you at $199, and then shipping and handling after that. You're welcome to call and order those, and if we, over the course of just the next few weeks, get enough people, we place the order at the end of the month. And again, if we have 10 of any of those things that you want to buy, then we will get you the group order rate. Okay, the last thing that I want to go through is the next step up. This is amazing. I ran across these when I was doing expo work for medical, and I was selling my herbal medicine kits alongside those who were selling medical supplies. And this is just the coolest kit ever. So this is called a paramedic stomp bag. And in the Self-Reliant Herbalist, you don't necessarily learn how to do stitches and to do many of these things. But what I do is I take the contents of this bag and I put it into this bag that comes with this set. And between this bag and the others, I just put in all of the items here, have it packed with this, and then I can go anywhere and have the medical and the herbal full kit with me. And that's the family kit. So you have a full surgical set here. You'll also get a list that you can look at as to everything that's in here. I also added in, there's extra pockets, so you can put in like, I put in hand warmers. I thought that would be a really good idea. There's some hand warmers in here. There's also some extra, these are called vet wraps. Vet wraps are really important. They don't come with the kit, but they're really not that expensive. You can go get them. And vet wraps just help you be able to put a poultice and some other things on. And so that would be an added addition. And it'll hold things. Oh my goodness, if you get a break or something, you can put some splints in there and this will hold it without having to pin it and all the uncomfortable things that you can do. So that's a good addition. These come with it, but when I had the paramedics in our fire department look at this kit, by the way, most of them purchased it, and actually the city purchased many of these kits from me because it was the best kit they've ever seen, and they wanted their paramedics and their CERT crew to be able to have it. They said the only thing it was missing is something that never comes with the stomp bag. Enough of these, but it does come with some. And so a lot of people will purchase this bag and then they'll purchase a whole bunch of these. They call them crinkle gauze rolls, or really there's a lot of different names for them. What it is for first responders, it helps them respond fast. And it's gauze that they can just roll. And they can do it fast and they can get the job done, they can stop bleeding, they can bandage up somebody. That's why the paramedics are just really, really fast, and they get really fast at rolling these. And so again, they said this is the best kit they've ever seen for especially the least expensive, and they would just purchase some more of those, which you have to order them separately anyways. I also put hand sanitizers in here and more of the crinkle gauze. It comes with splints, it comes with abdominal bandages, and again I put things like hygiene kits in here. It has calamine. Really, this is an army medic kit. And then you can stuff a whole bunch of other things in. So the other thing that it comes with is another bag. So you have the big bag. You have a smaller bag in there that I put the herbal medicine kit in. And then you're supposed to carry around with you prescriptions, or for me and my family, we have certain herbs that we like to take, or vitamins. And so I put all those in little bags. Like this is vitamin C, which I just happen to know that 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C can neutralize some kind of venoms, like a small bite from, what are those red ones? Black widows. And so things like that as added extras can fit into this little bag. And all of these zip up into one big stomp bag. And when it carries it on your back, it distributes the weight really well, so that it really doesn't feel like you're carrying that much weight. These are awesome. The paramedic stomp bags have all these contents, which you're welcome to read when you get these. And as far as chest pains, abdominal pain, breathing emergencies, all those things, you have a number of different things that you can learn how to use. and that would be an EMT degree that would help you get that. And those are already available out there. So when you get into the medical supplies, you're getting a little bit more advanced in the medical realm. But I would use your home remedies and have them on hand and combine them so you have the medical and the natural to be self-reliant with. You can order these today. When I went to the cities, they said, you know, these bags, $800 to $1,000 is what they paid for these. And when I went to the fire chief and I said, Chief, I can get these for you cheaper. Can I help the city save some money? Like, you know, we need to be frugal, fiscally responsible. I'd be glad to help with that. So I told him when we go to our expos, we sell them for $550. But with our group buys, again, with 10 or more, which the city needed a bunch, I said, I'll just $399 each. There you go. And shipping and handling and tax as well will be on top of that. But $399 for all you can get. And if somebody is an emergency first responder, like an EMT, or they know how to use all of the suture equipment, guess who they can help? They can help you. Because you've got the supplies here, and they usually leave a lot of their supplies at work because that's work, and they'll have some of their own. A lot of them did not have all of this equipment at home. And when they saw what I was doing and what I was teaching and how I was helping get the city some supplies, a lot of them gave this to themselves for Christmas that year, and I was able to order them for the EMTs in our area because they know what needs to be in their home for them to use their skills to then use this equipment. So, as a reminder, you need to prepare, prevent, and act quickly. Be prepared by carrying supplies. Prevent accidents. This is really important with my son. I told you I'd tell you a story. So, with all my emergency supplies, I try to be as cautious with my accident-prone son as possible, but in 2 weeks' time, he had 3 emergencies. One of them a breathing emergency, 2 of them bleeding or injury type emergencies, and one of them about threw me. I thought I was going to have to go to EMTs. I really thought I'd have to call an ambulance for the first time in my life and actually have them come to my house. Here's what happened. My son decided to be Superman, and he threw himself right into this piece of furniture that happened to be jagged because it was broken, and not only did it have a sharp corner, but it had an extra jagged corner. And so he lands right here on it. Superman, right onto this. Punctures himself. You guys probably know about the carotid artery. There's another one that bleeds almost as fast right here. And the human body has about 5 quarts of blood when you are an adult and you're fully grown. This little boy was bleeding out so fast, they have a lot less blood than that. And my daughter brought him up, and he was already covered in blood. I didn't know where the injury was, and she was in shock, so she couldn't really talk to me, and he was just looking at me and saying sayonara because he thought he was going to die. I laid him in the bathtub and, of course, said a prayer and wanted to know where he was bleeding from, and I just observed. This is what the EMTs at CERT taught me. I observed his body. I knew I had to stop the bleeding. And when I realized the flow was coming from here, I put pressure on it immediately. And he was in the bathtub so we could clean him up as well to make sure that there weren't any other areas that were bleeding. And so as we did that, and as I held pressure right here, my daughter was running to get the first responder kit. Again, you have 3 tinctures in there. So what I did was I took the aseptic formula and started putting it on. And then I realized that I was kind of in shock and wasn't thinking straight, and I needed to go straight to the cayenne to close up the wound first, and then alternated with Acceptic Cayenne, Acceptic Cayenne, Acceptic Cayenne. And it seemed like it was a really long time, and it was exhausting because that wound was not closing up and he just kept bleeding out. And so with pressure, I kept doing it. And in the meantime, she was ready to call 911. And all this happened within a couple minutes time. We got his bleeding to stop. I didn't feel a need to call 911. I just felt a need to then clean him up, and I did. And then I made sure that I made a butterfly bandage that was, instead of stitches, holding it up. But I had to watch him. I didn't have the comfort of just, leaving him to his accident-prone self. I had to watch him the rest of the day so that he wouldn't move too much, because we didn't want him to open up that artery again. But he was okay. It would have been even better if I'd known how to do stitches, and we are going to do a suturing or stitches class with Dr. Jeffrey Wright next month at the beginning of February. And so that will be very valuable. But just the Cayenne and the Acceptic closed it up enough, and I saw it close. It was miraculous. And so with that emergency, I was able to help him. With other emergencies, I've just been able to get his airways cleared and give him some lobelia so it doesn't close up. So prevent the accidents because it's a lot better than having to treat them. Although you learn a lot when you have to treat them, and you become more and more confident as you are faced with these. And it's a great idea to be faced with these things when there is medical care, when I do have 911 to call, when the roads aren't blocked, when everything is available to you, because then you have a backup system. And while you are learning, that backup system is comforting. It's a safety net. And if you are not able to take care of everything with your supplies and with your skills, then you know what to get next for your supplies, or you know what to learn next, so that you can become more and more and more self-reliant. So create a safe environment, and then when those opportunities come to serve, you act quickly. When there's an emergency, know how to use your supplies, and if you can take care of it, do. But again, don't deny medical care, especially while it's available to you. Sometimes I've just taken my son over to our uncle. Yeah, we pay for it. I mean, we go to his office. He's a doctor, and we pay for his services. And I have my son checked out, and it's just to make sure that I did it right, because I don't want to miss anything. And the way that you have all of the workbooks is really my trial and errors that are then backed by the medical system that's there. And I double check, and I make sure that I haven't missed anything, or I go to the doctor to learn. Doctors are supposed to be teachers, so I ask many questions. And you can always do that. You can always treat a child and then go have them checked out, and just make sure that what you are doing is moving the progress in the right fashion. So the Self-Reliant Herbalist is an amazing course, and any of you who want to now jump in, the next class is the debut of the Introduction to the Body. Those who have done this course in the past, some of you saw it at the very beginning when I didn't even have anything written, when I didn't have a full course. And it has developed because each quarter I ask the students questions to see what have we missed. And I, through that wisdom and that feedback, just barely introduced the Introduction to the Body. And it's a fabulous addition to the course. It is next week, and I invite all of you to come. And then all the other classes will follow. The next one is Cleansing and Nutrition. The one after that is going to teach you more about the first responder kit that you can put together yourself, and that you will also learn how to make all those tinctures so that you can replace them all the time. And that is Natural First Aid on the Go. The next one is family first aid, so family first responder, and then the ones after that get into deeper issues of chronic illnesses and terminal illnesses as well. Some of the more severe types of things that you can learn how to reverse many of those diseases and reverse not just the symptoms, but sometimes do what I have done, and you'll learn of my own personal testimonies of reversing autoimmune diseases or other ailments that I've had, that it's simpler than you think. It's really not as hard as going to a doctor and having him tell you, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you, and $10,000 later, which is what I paid that year in medical, I got no answers. That money was just money on tests. No answers, no help. Thanks a lot. That could have been food for my kids. This is all what inspired me to come here and to do this. Another thing, if any of you want to hear more of my story, I created Mission Made Possible. Probably because I really like the movie Mission Impossible. And Mission Made Possible tells about how I healed. It also tells a little bit about my story of finding my mission, which my mission happens to be teaching you today, as well as many other things, but this is an important one. And you can also purchase these, so give me a call if you want to get one of those and have it sent off to you. I have digital copies, or I have these really cool, you know, packaged Mission Made Possible ones, whichever you'd like to have. So you can enroll today. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we have plant identifications coming up in the spring, and an herbal lab as well is included in the course. And the course really helps you gain a peace of mind. And so if you know that you're supposed to be a part of this course, call. We'll get you in. And it'll be one of the best things that you ever did for your budget and for your family and caring for their medical. Peace of mind. Each challenge I have faced has brought me satisfaction and knowledge that I can handle almost any emergency thrown my way. Even when I almost had to call 911 with my son, I was able to handle it. And knowledge is power. Supplies are useful. Preparedness overall is peace. So join us and enjoy what you've learned today on medical self-reliance. Enroll today. We'd like to see you next week. Thank you.